All right, so we got news from the NFL. They are updating their COVID-19 rules, which is going to be effective on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, which means that all 32 teams will operate under the protocol for the remainder of the season, given that, it's the part of the year where the COVID cases are going to spike up like crazy because of the cold weather. With that said, all players and coaches must have a negative test from previous day's testing before entering all the facilities. They have to have regular daily PCR testings. All meetings have to be held virtually unless they can be held indoors or outdoors with pre-approved plan. Face masks must be worn at all times. That's pretty obvious. And the facilities and practice fields by personnel. So basically, everywhere they go in an NFL facilities, they have to wear a mask, which is pretty appropriate given that we have to do that outside of the facilities. With that said, all and especially all meals must be served in grab and go style to prevent people from congregating in meal rooms. Basically contacting one another face to face. And locker room use is highly discouraged on non-game days, meaning that they don't want you using the locker room when it's not a game day. And this was written by Judy Batista, who's an NFL.com columnist. So it's good to see that the NFL is taking heavy protocol, given that they didn't really have a decent plan for this COVID thing, Mario.
One thing I would like to say is I'm glad they're taking that protocol. And then another thing is when you're taking more testing, you're most likely to find more cases too.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the thing. So like more testing, more cases. If you could have it and I could have it, but if we don't get tested, that's 0 cases. If both of us get tested, it could be one or two.
Yeah,
So,
right.
but I mean, like, it's good that these guys are getting tested because then later on it turns out I think they were getting tested anyway, but like now this testing is going to be a lot more strict. And
Yeah,
I've taken a PCR test, like they're not the most comfortable thing to do. You gotta like spit in a tube on camera, and it's not the most comfortable thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I prefer not to have somebody look at me while I spit in the tube, but if that's what's gonna the action that's gonna have to be taken in order for COVID to be more strict, for these COVID rules to be more strictly followed, then I think the NFL is doing a good job. I think this is a good start, considering the
yeah,
fact
it is.
that the last protocol they had it wasn't really that effective, considering there was a lot of people being tested positive. And I understand why there's a lot of people being tested positive. We also got to remember this is a 53 man roster on the NFL,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
in the NBA with 11, and compared to the um, compared to the MLB, well, what, 22,
26.
26? Yeah. So I mean, they got almost double, even almost triple what they got. Actually, it's more than triple. It's more than triple what the MLB has. So I can understand why they had more cases. So with that being said, good job to the NFL for actually taking a serious action and
Yeah,
actually making the rules more strict and making sure that everything is according to plan, so that there's less tests for the NFL.
absolutely. I'm 100%
I'm
agree.
sorry, I mean, we were that less positive tests for the NFL.
I agree.